Jake Paul, a name that, just a few years ago, was synonymous with pranks, scandals, and endless internet debates.
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas! Come on, Rudolph!
Back then, no one could have imagined that he would one day trade his vlogging camera for boxing gloves. But he did it, and he shocked the sports world. Jake stepped into the ring and started knocking out his opponents. Proving that even YouTubers can become serious boxers. This isn't just a hobby, it's a challenge to the entire boxing world. Today, we're diving into the story of Jake the Problem Child Paul, the most electrifying YouTuber taking the boxing world by storm. Jake Paul was born on January 17, 1997, in Cleveland, Ohio. His father worked as a realtor, and his mother was a doctor. From a young age, Jake and his older brother Logan were known for their high energy and active lifestyles. During their school years, they participated in various sports, but in 2013, both brothers decided to focus on becoming content creators. They dove into the world of social media, quickly gaining popularity and establishing themselves as rising stars online. At the time, the app Vine was skyrocketing in popularity across the United States, allowing users to upload short 6-second videos. Jake Paul quickly jumped on the trend and created his own account. Within just 2 years, he amassed an impressive 5 million followers, thanks to his endlessly funny jokes and daring yet highly entertaining stunts. This marked his first step toward becoming one of the brightest stars on the internet. However, just 2 years later, Vine shut down, and Jake shifted his focus entirely to YouTube. This transition proved to be a massive success. He quickly became a sensation. Yet, his reputation as a rowdy teenager throwing wild parties brought its own set of problems. Neighbors frequently complained about the constant noise and chaos, but nothing could stop Jake. Today, his YouTube channel boasts over 20 million subscribers, and he's considered one of the highest paid content creators in the world. In 2017, Jake formed his now famous team of popular influencers called Team 10, and soon released his first music video, It's Everyday Bro.
It's everyday, bro, with the Disney Channel flow.
Despite heavy criticism, the video went viral, solidifying his position as a cultural phenomenon. All the fame and success went straight to 20-year-old Jake Paul's head. He had everything: money, popularity, and a luxurious lifestyle. But with it came the loss of something crucial, a sense of purpose and direction. The question, what's next, became a real challenge for him. That's when boxing entered his life. In August 2018, his older brother Logan headlined a highly publicized boxing match against another popular YouTuber, KSI. On the same night, Jake made his boxing debut, stepping into the ring against KSI's younger brother, Deji Olatunji. The fight ended with Jake securing a victory by technical knockout in the 5th round. That evening marked a turning point, paving the way for his new career as a boxer. To kick off his professional boxing career, Jake Paul sought the guidance of true experts, Shane Mosley and BJ Flores. These seasoned trainers took on the task of preparing Jake for his debut on the professional stage. Jake proved to be not only ambitious, but also a talented student. He pushed himself relentlessly in training, showing determination and a drive for perfection. His rapid progress even surprised his coaches. Jake demonstrated that he wasn't just in it for the spectacle. He was ready for serious fights. In January 2020, Jake Paul stepped into the professional boxing ring for the first time. His opponent was English YouTuber Ali Ihsan Gibb. Jake showcased his preparation and power, knocking out his opponent in the very first round.
Gibb crouching wildly.
This explosive debut immediately drew attention to his boxing career and made skeptics reconsider. Jake Paul was proving he was ready for bigger challenges. Later that year, Jake Paul returned to the ring, and his improvement in technique was undeniable. His opponent was former professional basketball player Nate Robinson. In the very first round, Jake landed a precise counterpunch, sending Robinson to the canvas.
Jake Paul caught Nate Robinson on the way.
Although Nate briefly considered ending the fight, he chose to continue. However, the second round brought a repeat of the first. Another pinpoint counterpunch from Jake once again floored Robinson.
He's trying to get out of ring.
This time, he couldn't get back up. The spectacular knockout became one of the most talked about moments in boxing that year, further solidifying Jake's reputation as a promising fighter. After a series of successful fights, Jake Paul decided to step up the level of his competition. In April 2021, he faced MMA veteran and former Bellator champion Ben Askren in the ring. The fight didn't last long. In the first round, Jake landed a precise and powerful punch, sending Askren to the canvas. Although Ben showed resilience and got back to his feet, it was clear he couldn't continue. The referee stopped the fight, awarding Jake a victory by technical knockout. This win was another bold statement from Jake in the boxing world, proving he was ready to take on fighters from other disciplines. A few months later, Jake Paul raised the bar even higher by stepping into the ring against former UFC champion Tyron Woodley. Unlike Ben Askren, Woodley was a much more dangerous opponent. His boxing skills were well developed, as many of his MMA victories came from his devastating punching power. This fight was a true test for Jake, as Woodley was not only an experienced fighter, but also possessed excellent physical conditioning and knockout power. From the opening bell, Tyron Woodley came out swinging, aiming to take Jake's head off, just as he had done to opponents in the UFC. His punches were powerful and precise, but Jake was well prepared. He defended skillfully, avoiding the most dangerous attacks, and even managed to counter several times. Jake showed that he could absorb pressure and respond to the aggression of an experienced opponent with composure and tactical precision.
Right hand to the body by Paul. Moving to it into his power alley, the right hand.
As the rounds progressed, it became clear that Jake lacked experience in longer fights. Fatigue began to set in, and his movements slowed slightly. However, it was at this moment that Jake showed his true fighting spirit. Despite absorbing a powerful punch from Woodley, a shot that could have broken a less prepared fighter, Jake maintained his focus. He continued to stay active in the ring, defending and searching for opportunities to counter.
Woodley walking Paul down, and as noted, trainer Stephen Breadman Edwards says the jab finds rhythm and breaks. Took upstairs by Paul, 1-2. Left hook, Woodley on the attack as we go to the 7th.
In the end, Jake managed to take the fight to the final bell, where the judges awarded him the victory by decision.
And still undefeated, the Problem.
In December of the same year, Jake Paul and Tyron Woodley faced off in a highly anticipated rematch. This time, Jake entered the ring with even greater confidence in his abilities. He fought actively, holding his ground and matching Woodley in a battle of power boxing.
And of course, the offensive zone. Nothing to tie him up with. Watch your head.
The third round was particularly intense. The fighters clashed heads, leaving Jake with a cut.
From Paul. Woodley, maybe the now opening up on Paul. He has to tie him up that time. It's a cut on the head, on the brow, really, upper brow. I was going to say, those cuts bleed a lot.
Yes.
At one point, Woodley even attempted a throw, a reminder of his MMA roots. Despite these challenges, Jake remained focused, patiently waiting for the perfect moment to land a decisive blow. That moment came in the 6th round. Tyron hesitated for just a fraction of a second, and Jake capitalized with a devastating right hand. Woodley collapsed to the canvas and couldn't get back up. This knockout not only marked the end of Woodley's boxing career, but also elevated Jake Paul to new heights of fame, solidifying his reputation as a rising star in the boxing world. A year later, Jake Paul faced another formidable opponent, MMA legend and former UFC champion Anderson "The Spider" Silva. This fight was particularly significant for Jake. Unlike in his previous bouts, he conducted himself with restraint during press conferences, showing respect for Silva. Jake openly admitted that he grew up watching Silva's fights and regarded him as a personal hero. This match was not only a test of Jake's skills, but also an opportunity to prove himself against a global sports icon.
I mean, that's just amazing.
During the fight, Anderson Silva showcased his signature style, constantly pressuring Jake Paul and applying relentless aggression. However, Jake was prepared. He moved smartly around the ring, evaded attacks, and delivered effective counters, demonstrating his rapid growth as a boxer. The highlight of the fight came in the 8th round, when Jake landed a powerful punch that sent his idol Silva to the canvas. But true to his legendary status, Silva got back up and continued to battle, displaying incredible resilience. The bout ultimately ended with a unanimous decision in Jake Paul's favor. This victory marked a significant milestone in his career, proving that he could compete against fighters of Silva's caliber. In 2023, Jake Paul took the next step in his career, testing himself against a professional boxer. His opponent was Tommy Fury, the younger brother of legendary heavyweight world champion Tyson Fury. This fight was highly anticipated, as many critics doubted Jake's ability to compete against a legitimate boxer. Determined to prove he deserved respect in the boxing world, Jake approached this bout as a critical challenge in his journey.
It'll also be one of the most watched fights of the year.
During the fight, it became evident that Jake Paul struggled to compete with a seasoned professional boxer.
From Tommy Fury. It's a good left hand as well.
While he didn't look out of place in the ring, his lack of experience made it difficult to match Tommy Fury on an even footing. Tommy, on the other hand, showed that he was not nearly as skilled as his older brother Tyson Fury. He frequently fought with his hands down and his chin exposed, leaving himself vulnerable on multiple occasions.
But that's a nice short right back. But that's been
in the final 10th round, Jake capitalized on one of these mistakes and knocked Tommy Fury down.
Good, down goes Tommy Fury.
This dramatic moment was the highlight of the fight, but overall, Jake was outboxed and lost on points. Despite the defeat, Jake demonstrated that he was willing to take on professional opponents, further solidifying his determination to continue his journey in boxing. After his fight with Tommy Fury, Jake Paul realized he wasn't yet ready for regular bouts against professional boxers. His next opponent was the legendary MMA fighter Nate Diaz. While Diaz initially seemed like an easier matchup on paper, the reality was far more challenging.
And a round of boxing.
From the opening rounds, Jake confidently controlled the fight, showcasing precision and power.
Could not miss with the jab. Oh, big shot, big lefter.
Nate might be in some trouble already. Nate tries to clinch.
Big left hook again. He's in big trouble, Wade.
Find a way if you're Nate to look to clinch because Jake is landing at will. We expect.
However, Nate, known for his incredible endurance and unorthodox fighting style, began picking up the pace as the fight progressed.
This is good weather the last minute or so.
By the middle rounds, Jake started to feel the pressure from his relentless opponent.
Overshot. Look at the volume here from Nate.
Despite this, Jake once again displayed his fighting spirit. In one of the rounds, he managed to knock Diaz down with a powerful punch.
Oh, left hook is down.
Left hook sends Diaz to the cage.
True to his nature, Diaz treated the knockdown with a smirk, got back up and continued to fight, turning the bout into a spectacle more about entertainment than strategy.
Go inside.
And here comes Nate Diaz.
Oh, big left hand. He fell down.
good.
Yeah, he was busy. And this is what he needs to do. He needs to get close. Nice left hand. It's a good left hook.
On his bike here, Nate comes forward. Nice uppercut.
Needs to keep working.
In the end, Jake Paul secured a victory via judge's decision. This fight further demonstrated his growth as a boxer and his ability to handle unique and unpredictable opponents.
Nate throwing a flurry coming forward here.
The problem child, Jake!
After his victory over Nate Diaz, Jake Paul decided to return to fighting professional boxers, though he carefully selected opponents with noticeably lower skill levels.
Be careful by ducking down.
He had 2 fights against relatively weaker boxers, winning both by knockout. This summer, Paul planned a blockbuster fight against boxing legend Mike Tyson, who is now 58 years old. However, due to health issues, Tyson had to withdraw from the bout. His replacement was another Mike, MMA fighter Mike Perry. Perry, known for his toughness and fearless approach, was a game opponent, but his boxing technique fell far short of Jake's level. Jake dominated the fight over 6 rounds, showcasing significant improvements in his skill set. Ultimately, the fight was stopped due to Jake's overwhelming advantage, securing another convincing victory in his record.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Jake Paul's most recent fight was against none other than the legendary Mike Tyson. The pre-fight press conferences were loud and full of dramatic moments, including the now infamous incident where Iron Mike slapped Jake, adding even more hype to the event.
I didn't even feel it. He's angry. He's an angry little elf. Mike Tyson.
However, the fight itself turned out to be surprisingly underwhelming. It was clear that Tyson was far from his prime, and Jake seemed reluctant to push the pace. Perhaps he fought cautiously to avoid unnecessary risks, or maybe it was his way of showing respect to the boxing icon. The match unfolded at a slow tempo, with neither fighter taking significant chances. In the end, Jake secured a victory by judge's decision. While the fight didn't deliver much excitement, it added another big name to Jake Paul's record, further solidifying his status as one of the most talked about figures in boxing today. After the fighters' payouts for the match were revealed, interest in Jake Paul as an opponent skyrocketed. His fights had become not only entertaining, but also incredibly lucrative. The list of challengers eager to face Paul grew significantly, ranging from professional boxers to MMA stars and even other celebrities. As always, Jake responded in his signature style. He continued to draw attention with bold statements and high-profile call-outs, turning each of his fights into a spectacle. Paul has proven that having his name on a fight poster guarantees massive paydays and the attention of millions of fans worldwide. Jake Paul is a prime example of someone who turned criticism and doubt into fuel for success. From a YouTuber to a professional boxer, he has proven that determination and ambition can overcome any obstacle. Today, his name is synonymous with spectacular fights, massive paydays, and the ability to stay in the spotlight. His journey is just beginning, and the world eagerly awaits the next move of the problem child.